So we're in the finals of the spring fling, and we have Flint playing the four color land deck, and Jeff playing the rock. So, what do you think about the matchup, the decks, or anything in general?
Uh, so Jeff's deck is actually pretty good, I think. Here, he's only got the three deck cards for main deck.
Mm-hmm.
His sideboard's not terrible, I don't think. So I think he actually has a pretty good chance. I think Flint's deck is pretty favored though if he can get going.
Yeah, I think Jeff's deck's okay in the main deck. Like you said, it does have three deck cards. I guess I disagree a little bit about the sideboard. That I mean, I've struggled to bring in three cards. There's
Yeah.
really nothing that's that exciting. But I guess on the other side of the coin is Flint's not bringing in too many heavy hitters. But all right, we're already
Well,
starting. Flint starts with a turn one exploration off an undiscovered paradise, and then also a Rishadan Port. So
so we
oh,
assume he's not going to bring in too many things, but we've been wrong on every sideboard so far.
yes,
So
that is true. And that looks
now
like a Cabal Therapy that Jeff's. So in the dark, I think I would just name Hornagreed.
yep,
I mean, the only other card I guess maybe you would name is Enlightened Tutor, but
yep.
looks like he named Hornagreed, and there's an Enlightened Tutor, a Wasteland, and a Rishadan Port. It looks like. So Flint still has the option to. Well, I guess he doesn't because he has to return the Undiscovered Paradise. I was gonna say that to play the Hornagreed.
So I actually think the secret card here is trade routes is the most important card. Because I don't think Flink can win without trade routes.
I think he
So
can. You definitely can get enough lands in your hand to
you
get
think?
that critical mass, but yeah, there. Yeah, I think you can. Like if you have enough Hornagreeds in play, I don't think it's that hard. But that also
'Cause-
could be an issue against a Pernicious Deed. So
right. Well, it's kind of one of those secret hidden games of do you risk it on the play? Do you play it or do you just try to keep it in your hand?
the Hornagreed or
Uh,
the trade routes.
no, the trade routes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a card you would name with Cabal Therapy, and there's only two Duress,
Never.
so I
Yeah.
guess I would keep it in your hand.
Yep.
Um, so
There we
Flint's
go.
playing a line tutor to get another Hornagreed. So that's the engine that he's trying to set up is the Hornagreed exploration combo. Really just allows him to get ahead. So if Jeff doesn't have a deed here, I mean Flint's definitely advantaged, but it's not like game over for Jeff. It's just every turn that goes, Flint's gonna get further and further ahead because he's gonna be playing probably two lands or more a turn, and then drawing extra cards.
Yeah. No Waller roots on turn two for the Rock is a little bit rough for him.
Yeah, him not playing anything. I mean, I guess he played a Cabal Therapy, um, or was that on turn
No
one?
man. So
Oh,
yeah, it was turn one, and he's
sorry,
been getting ported.
I did not update life totals.
Oh, so Flint missed a card draw there.
I was updating, so he just forgot to draw from the Hornagreed.
No, he played both lands and then cast Hornagreed. Um, so I think he just might have forgotten to draw a card. Or, well, he couldn't draw because he had played him before.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah, I can hear you. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm looking at other things right now. I'm trying to
I just
get
got a pop up. That's why.
get things situated. So,
All right. So he gets the free card draw here.
so if he's leading with a Walrus, so he just doesn't have another land. That's a little bit awkward, especially when your opponent plays a Hornagreed. So Flint is probably in the spot. He's just looking to tie up Jeff's mana. I mean, if he has two ports, um, because that just allows him to kind of develop more. That is, what's the name of that card? Kor Haven, I think it is. It can like 1 and a white and tap it to prevent the damage of a
And Flint.
attacking creature, attacking or blocking. I'm not sure. Um, Lester's having some connection issues, so I will see if he can get joined in. So, to continue on, so Flint looks really ahead if he's able to tap down Jeff's lands. He's not able to play very many spells for that, especially if he's missing a land drop. So Flint's going to pull further and further ahead, and he is going to look to set up a turn where he can resolve a Seismic Assault, especially from the spot, because Jeff might not have a time, even if he does have a Pernicious Deed, to play and then untap and activate Pernicious Deed for 3 to destroy the Seismic Assault. So he kind of has the luxury of exposing that Seismic Assault, where other spots he might not want to do that. Are you back, Lester?
I'm back. Yep.
Okay. So Jeff's missing land drops, and Flint's just porting them and pulling further and further ahead. So not looking great for the rock player, but I mean, it's possible that Flint's gonna need a while to set up shop, and a timely hand disruption card could take away what Flint needs.
So Flint's actually got extra Wasteland there too.
Oh yeah,
there he goes. There goes the treetop.
Yeah. So yeah, he pretty much can lock down all of Jeff's mana. I mean, tap 2 lands. Jeff has a Wall of Roots and then has 1 land drop, so he can play a 2 mana spell if he has it. But he's didn't do it this turn, so it's not like he has a Wall of Blossoms or another Wall of Roots to play. I always like to see like if Flint cracks the fetch land before the card draw trigger, it just shows whether he wants to draw a land or not.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I mean, it doesn't really give you that much information, but it's always just a interesting tidbit. So here he's kind of saying that he doesn't want more lands.
Oh, wow.
So Flint's definitely exploring. I mean,
yeah.
He's not that he's not pulling ahead, but as soon as he gets like 2 Hornegreeds, then he really starts churning through his deck. Then like Summer Bloom is like a really explosive card with 2 Hornegreeds. With 1, it's still good, obviously, but he really gets to explode with multiple Hornegreeds.
Summer Bloom might be the one card that everybody kind of scratches their head at if you don't watch this deck in action.
Yeah.
And then once you watch the deck in action, like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people just think of it kind of as like a super mana ramp card, but it's really part of your draw engine, because you just, I mean, I don't know if there's ever a situation where if you want to play it without a Hornegreed in play.
Right. Are we discarding on Jeff's side?
Did we pass the turn, or is Flint still doing this in response to a draw trigger?
No, we're discarding the hand size.
All right. So yeah.
All right. So now we get to double Hornegreed.
So yeah. So I guess I would think that this is probably a turn where either Flint. I guess he doesn't even need to like win on this turn, because he's not afraid of anything of coming out of Jeff, because he has the 2 ports. He just needs to leave 4 mana open, and he doesn't have to fear a Pernicious Deed. So that Hornegreed that he looked for comes down, and he's going to be able to play a lot of lands and draw a lot of cards this turn. Expect at least one Summer Bloom, and then he's going to, I don't know, draw, 14 cards probably.
And he might even pick up another Hornegreed along the way here.
Yeah, and that just makes everything a lot easier.
Now he's got triple port going.
Yeah, I know Jeff has definitely missed 1 point of life from Flint's total because he cracked a Windswept Heath. I haven't paid attention if the City of Brasses have been tapped yet, but
I think he just played them last turn.
But this isn't a matchup. I mean, at least from this spot, I don't think that life total is going to matter very much.
No.
So there's the one trader out, so that's going to make... Like, that just shows... Like, if he's casting Seismic Assault here, he can pass a turn. Oh, well...
He didn't cast it. He's just going to triple port, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So Flint took 2 damage. Yeah, I think Jeff has missed that fetch. So really all Flint needs, I think, is a Seismic Assault, and he can win next turn.
Yep. Does Flint only have 7 cards in hand? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess he made... Yeah, especially if you every land he played, he drew 2.
Yeah.
Maybe he was really low to begin with, I'm not sure.
Ooh, we got the Vendetta.
Is he casting it on his wall, or is he just discarding it?
Just out of spite? Nope.
A recurring nightmare? Yeah, so, I mean, he's got to have an Enlightened Tutor or a Seismic Assault here, right? He's just counting up his lands and... Undiscovered Paradise, draw 2. I mean, he's got how many lands in play?
And we'll just let him go off, too.
Yeah. Because there's nothing that Jeff can do to interrupt this.
No.
So...
There's got the 3 red.
Yeah, the 2 City of Brass and the Rith Grove. Oh, and Undiscovered Paradise, I guess. So only takes 1 damage. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 lands that he can pick up. So he just needs 2 lands in his hand. And that's what we're seeing. Just making him take the damage for that City of Brass that he took. 1, 2. These are Glacial Chasm. These are getting discarded to the Seismic Assault. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20 damage is assaulted at Jeff, and that will mean the first game goes to Flint.
Now I got another one non-sideboarded, right?
Yes, we are playing best of 5, so the second game will also be without a sideboard. So I guess it's kind of the result that maybe we had expected, but I mean, does Jeff rethink his game plan at all? Like, can he do anything different? Does he prioritize anything based on how that game played out?
So Jeff's deck with no mana acceleration, which in some matchups I think was great. Here, I think you almost kind of want to maybe mulligan 2 mana acceleration because you kind of got to get a guy out.
And the only mana acceleration he has is 4 Wallet Roots, right?
Right.
So.
Yep.
I mean, I guess in this position, I think the most ideal play: turn 1 Hand Disruption, turn 2 Wallet Roots, turn 3 Blastoderm. I mean, I think that's the perfect draw. I mean, I guess there's also, you could have a pretty quick deed that would be pretty effective if Flint does the 1-2 punch of Exploration and Hornegreed.
Yeah, if you get turn 3 D down, even the range tournaments here could be good too.
Yeah, I just looking at like damage though, it kind of like if Flint has how many glacial chasms does he has? I thought he had
Too.
two, and then he has two crop rotations.
Yep, and then 2 gambos.
And the thing is um, Jeff has no wasteland. He has no dust bowl. He's no way to get rid of that glacial chasm.
Yeah, if Chasm comes down, it just sits there. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely gives Flint a lot of time.
Yep.
But yeah,
I,
there's nothing that Jeff can really do about that. So
I mean, I think that you're discounting the turn 1 Festering Goblin
I mean, yeah,
into turn 2 discard.
all the Festering Goblin can do is attack in this matchup.
I mean, it can be sacked to the therapy as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, but then it might kill another Festering Goblin that's in play.
That's true.
A chain reaction.
Right.
So
I mean, game 3 he sided one in for sure. So
that's what yeah. Looking at his sideboard, I don't. He just doesn't have. It's better than a Vendetta. So
he's got 2 Duresses and Festering Goblin to bring in.
yep.
So both mulligan.
I mean, the only other cards I think from his sideboard you could make an argument is Tormod's Crypt or City of Solitude, and I think both of those are worse than Festering Goblin.
For sure. Yeah, Tormod's Crypt does nothing here.
He's got a Guy's Blessing, so maybe there's a spot where you like make him discard enough cards and exile his graveyard that he can't win. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
So do you think mulligans change a lot, or does it advantage one deck or the other?
I think mulligan is obviously worse for Flint because he can get he can get caught with that Duress or Cabal Therapy.
Okay.
Turn 1 Cabal Therapy is just kind of a what do you name? You just name Exploration.
Um, if you have a Pernicious Deed, I would definitely name Exploration, because the Horn Greed's going to come down a lot slower then.
Yep.
If you don't have a Pernicious Deed, I mean, I still think you might not name Exploration in the Dark. I mean, you can make an argument for Enlightened Tutor. It's kind of like there's the same number of copies and it could get either one. But
True.
yeah, it's I usually see more Duresses than Cabal Therapies in the main. And I mean, obviously he has the other Duresses in the sideboard. But yeah, it might be harder on turn 1 to name with a Cabal Therapy and hit than almost in every case you're going to hit with a Duress. So there we go. There's that turn 1 Exploration coming from Flint. And he follows up with a City Brass. So
He's really setting up for that Horn of Greed now.
So if your second land is City Brass, does that just mean... I mean, that's probably one of the last lands you would play from your hand, right? Oh, no. Okay, never mind.
Unless you have a Enlightened Tutor,
yes. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Never mind. Take it back.
Right.
So, this 1-2 punch that we talk about, this is what Flint's deck wants to do.
Jeff could be setting them up here, though. He might have to deed.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. He could have 4 mana next turn.
Yep.
Also, one thing that Jeff might want to be conscious of is the order that he plays his lands. Because Flint has both Wasteland and Rishadan Port, he might want to save black mana in his hand so that Flint can't tap it down, like if he only has 1 black source, until the turn he can play the Pernicious Deed. Or hold a non-basic land in your hand, like possibly like a Treetop Village, because it's going to get blown up by a Wasteland, and set you back on a turn where you would want to cast Pernicious Deed. Something that Jeff, if he has the luxury, is something that he should think about. It's not something that you always get to play around, but...
Yeah, we definitely saw Flint prioritize going after black mana last game.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably there's less sources, and he's not really afraid of any of the green cards. I mean, Deed is a green card, but...
Yeah.
So there's a Baloth. So a little bit of pressure. I mean, that's just
Better
a
than nothing.
yeah. And I mean, Jeff could also, like I said, be holding that black mana to cast a deed when he wants. Because I mean, he's still able to draw a card from Horn of Greed, and if he can put down a clock and then follow it up with a Pernicious Deed and activate it, then he is able to continue attacking as compared to trying to blow up, take out a mana source with his Wall of Roots, and then try and apply pressure after that. It might be a little harder. Oh, it looks like I missed.
This one's just saying go.
Looks like it. Looks like he just wants to port during the upkeep. So there's a swamp.
Yep, there's the black.
So I'm guessing a deed is coming down here.
That's I guess too.
Especially just the way that. Oh, it could be a counter, and is that a Blastoderm? Another Baloth? I can't really. There's counters going on. It's got to be a Blastoderm. We made the mistake once. We're not going to do it again. All right, so the Baloth comes in. Flint takes 4. He's down to 14.
So now this is a serious clock now.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's only 4 cards. I mean, I guess you could count Gamble maybe as. I'm just considering because you can look. A board could look good for Jeff and then pretty quickly turn around if a Glacial Chasm comes into play. So
now we got the Chasm. Going to draw a card off that.
Yeah. So if any of you aren't familiar with Glacial Chasm, when it comes into play, you need to sacrifice a land. It has cumulative upkeep of pay 2 life, but it has prevent all damage that would be dealt to you.
Including City of Brass damage.
Yes, City of Brass, paying lands. Doesn't stop a fetch land, because that's paying life. But burn spells, creature damage, it just stops. So it's not indefinite, because obviously it has a cumulative upkeep, but it's going to stifle Jeff's attacking. His Ravenous Baloth and Blastoderm aren't doing anything right now. So Summer Bloom is played by Flint. Does he still have a green manning floating? The chat was asking about if Jeff is playing Wastelands. Jeff does not have any Wastelands. He doesn't have any Death Bowl. Doesn't have any way to interact with the Glacial Chasm in his main deck or the sideboard.
All right, 2 ports here.
Yeah, from this spot, I mean, yeah, I guess ports are actually really good. Like tapping down the black mana, just hoping that your opponent isn't going to play Deed, because that's really the only card you're scared of right now.
Even just tax him on the Deed so that he can't blow it up right away. He's got to wait a full turn to do it too.
Sure. Yeah, because Jeff's looking at 6 mana next turn with the Wall of Roots and a land drop. So Flint's tapping that Karplusan Forest.
No damage.
No damage.
He's going to gamble here.
Oh, crop rotation. It's interesting. He's doing it right away?
Yep. What are we going to get?
What's the benefit of... I mean, he's getting a port then, right? Or a Wasteland? Or a Wasteland doesn't hit anything right now. It's got to be a port then if you're doing it right now. Because otherwise you do Glacial Chasm during your turn.
Right.
And I mean, I think you'd be fine paying 2 life. Keeping around.
Oh, he might be getting undiscovered though.
Okay, yeah, if he's
running low on lands, he might be powering up the old edge.
Yeah.
Nope. We're always wrong.
I said that. I said he's probably getting port. I mean, if I name every net land in his deck, eventually I'm going to be right. So.
Right. It's odd though because he doesn't actually have the mana for it right now.
I guess I was thinking that like a Riftstone Portal was in the graveyard, but that's not the case. Yeah, so
tap.
And yeah, the City Brass wasn't going to deal him damage, so I guess that would be the only other reason to not do it right there.
Yeah. Other black mana.
Okay. This is just another beast, right?
Yep.
A Ravenous Baloth. So, I mean, not ideal, but I mean, what else are you gonna do if you don't have a deed?
Right.
Okay, so the Glacial Chasm's upkeep is paid, so that's 2 life. Next turn it'll be 4. But still, that if you go 4 and 6, that's 10 life. Puts Flint to 2. That just gives him enough time to draw a crop rotation or another Glacial Chasm, or just kill Jeff.
Alright, so another Horn agreed.
Alright. The only issue here is... Okay, I was to say, every time he has to tap a Rishadan Port is kind of something that Flint doesn't want to do. Because he wants to, he really wants to port Jeff's mana. Because if Jeff has access to 6 mana this turn, that could really cause some issues for Flint. And right now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from lands and 6 from the Wall Roots. So I guess Flint's only looking to tap 2 lands. So he just needs to keep 2 ports and 2 other mana. I guess that's not too tricky.
Yeah, he's going to be able to tap both the swamps again.
Yeah, the chat was talking about Ravenous Baloth coming into play here. Jeff is able to gain 12 life just from sacking his board. That definitely slows Flint down. I feel like most of the time it just makes him have to find the trade routes, which isn't too hard because he has the Enlightened Tutor. So once he's going off with multiple Hornagreeds, I think he's able to build up enough lands, and then he's going to be able to pick up the lands that he has in play and throw the rest at him. So it's 16 lands in his hand and in play. So there is a point where it gets difficult, but it doesn't look like it's too hard right now. Okay, so the black mana got ported. Jeff is using... That's a Wall of Blossoms. So why did he put a counter on it as compared to just tapping the other land? Maybe he just knows he's using his mana this turn?
I mean, maybe he's got Recurring Nightmare, and he wanted to do something with that.
But, I mean, is there a reason to do it right away? I mean, I guess it probably doesn't even matter. It's not like Flint is dealing damage to the Wall of Roots. I guess you're saying... Yeah, I don't know. That's another Wall of Roots, looks like.
So he's going to tap Undiscovered just to be able to return it here.
So do you think Jeff's play in terms of playing another Wall of Roots, that's probably just to get more mana in play, right? It's not like a sign saying that he doesn't have Deed. Because he would happily trade away all of his Wall of Roots to blow up Flint's board.
Right. And the Deed doesn't actually affect his beast at all.
Yeah, because he's only going to be needing to activate it for 3.
Yep. Blastoderm's going to be dying here, am I right?
If there's a dice on it, I'm assuming there's still at least 1 counter. Maybe not. Yeah, because it'll die when there's no counters, so if there's a die on it, I'm assuming it's got to be at least at 1, so he's got 2 more upkeeps, I would think.
We might have missed that. That thing should be dead by now, I would think.
I don't think so. I think it's at 1 right now.
Oh. Oof.
Flint's getting greedy.
Yep.
Oh man, this is just where everything that Flint does just seems so greedy. Or not greedy, so dirty. I mean, just every land turns into 3 cards, and it just seems like he's either going to find another Exploration or another Summer Bloom, and he's just going to draw a gazillion cards this turn.
Now, do you try to do the damage in chunks?
I guess if you can.
Assuming he's got 2 assaults, do you?
Yeah, I would say if you have 2 assaults, then the only thing you might be a little bit afraid of is if you start doing that. I guess he would have to have deed and a removal spell, and there's only one black source because he can port the 2 swamps. So maybe he's not afraid of that line of that could be something that you could do is just do it over 2 turns.
Yep.
Because I think the only combination, because if you would need to have deed and a Duress or a Cabal Therapy, and
You only have access to 1 black, probably.
yeah, I can't think of a way that Jeff gets. Because I mean, if he had cast a Cabal Therapy earlier, then that would make a big difference because he could just sack a creature to flash it back. But
And maybe that's why he's trying to get rid of the wall.
no, because the wall doesn't need to be in the graveyard.
Oh, yeah, I
You need to
forgot.
sacrifice a creature, but I think it was just he knew he was using his mana, is why he did it at the other turn.
So he doesn't have 3 red mana right now, right? He's only got 2.
Untapped? No, he's got.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Riftstone Portal was a Risk Grove. So he's got a Barbarian Ring and a City of Brass.
Yep.
Untapped. So correct, he does not have a 3rd red source. But I think he's pretty happy just because if he taps 3 lands, 1, 2.
What are we gambling for?
An exploit, a Summer Bloom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Unless it's like a kill card. I think Summer Bloom is. I mean, Summer Bloom seems really. That's assuming he has some lands in his hand. I don't know exactly how many cards he has. But if you're casting Gamble, you're either really desperate or. I was going to say, Flint's deck does not look very thick right now. Oh, no, that's his hand that he's shuffling. Sorry.
Yeah. Might be bigger, actually.
Was that
14 cards in
14?
hand.
14? Is that what we counted? Does Jeff have his D20 ready?
Yep.
He probably won't even have to reroll.
I don't know what he hit.
I don't know. 8? Lucky number 8. In Enlightened Tutor. I mean,
Ooh.
that's a good card. I don't think that'd be one
Yeah.
you would gamble for, but... I mean,
I don't know, you
is
gamble.
is
you
gamble
gamble for
really
that
a
and-
gamble if you have 14 cards in hand?
No, yeah. Yeah. I think you still go get the Enlightened Tutor over the important card, though. This is just trade routes, then?
So your thought is just so off the off chance that you discard it, you're not
Yeah,
like, you don't
if
lose
you're
it?
trying... I mean, we could assume we probably went and got Summer Bloom, but if you're going to go get, like, the trade routes or the
Yeah,
Seismic Assault...
the 1 in 14 chance of discarding it, then if you discarded
Yes.
that 1 in 14 of the Enlightened Tutor, you're not just... I don't know, he wouldn't be cold, but you wouldn't lose the 1 trade routes that's in your deck. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Here's a Wooded
Pretty sure he
Foothills.
went and got the Summer Bloom, but yeah.
Alright, he loses a life.
So shockingly enough, he's not trying to draw land here.
I would say that 1 life, because now I mean, if it comes to the next upkeep, the cumulative upkeep of the Glacial Chasm is 3, but it still puts him to 1, and he doesn't really have anything to worry about. Man, just when he's able to play 2 more lands and draw 6 more cards, and he still has more explorations and Summer Blooms and. It's a good feeling when you get to take a lot of game actions and your opponent can't do anything.
Right.
It's
So now
usually,
he's got the 3 red.
it's usually a sign that you're winning. I guess maybe not always, but. Here's an exploration. Another land, 3 more cards.
Yep.
I mean, if Flint had 14 before, what do you think he's up to now? 20? Here's a Glacial Chasm.
He's got a fresh chasm.
So
Do you just keep both in play just to show how wealthy you are?
probably not. What happened to the Riftstone Portal?
Is that what he's looking for? Yeah.
Okay, that's what he's sacking.
He had to go fishing for it.
I, I mean, I guess,
Oh,
I guess that allows him to tap the other Glacial Chasm, but
Yeah.
I guess if you're just looking, he doesn't really need mana per se, so it's better to. I guess that gives him 2 mana because he has 2 Glacial Chasms in play. So I was just thinking sack the other chasm because you're not going to keep it around, but I mean, maybe you're not even looking at passing the turn. I don't know.
I mean, you don't want to pass a turn with 34 cards in hand or whatever he's got.
That's true.
But this might be where he's looking. I mean, he doesn't have the 3 red deck though.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he'll get it here.
That's funny enough. So, because he got a red mana with the Wooded Foothills, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, he has a lot of red sources.
Now he's got it.
Does he have Deserted Temple in this list? Or, I mean, I don't know how many red sources
I don't
he has,
think so.
But it's a bunch. Okay,
He's got it now.
Yeah. But, I mean, like we said, there are 3 beasts in play. So that makes Jeff at essentially 32 life. So Flint needs 16 lands to throw at Jeff. So without trade routes, I think that's pretty tricky, but I don't think it's that hard to get a trade routes from the spot. You pretty much need a trade routes or an Enlightened Tutor and a land drop, and then you got it.
I have to assume he's got 16.
Well, though we talked about him being choking on red mana, none of his other cards tap for blue, so he would also need an additional colored source.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, chunking the damage out.
Yeah. Though, I guess he doesn't have any other land drops. I was to say he could... oh, no. Because Undiscovered Paradises don't come back to his hand to the next turn. So he could just pick it up right away and then play it again, but...
I mean, he's got to have an assault by now. There's just...
I mean, at this point, you could just be thinking, if I am passing the turn, what is my best line? What is my best way to reduce the risk of losing, kind of thing?
Yeah. He's got another Siren Bloom here.
He's counting card his deck. It only seemed like 5. And so, Horn of Greed is not a May ability.
No.
That would be very ironic if Flint like decked himself.
Right.
If there were just enough beasts in play that he couldn't deal the damage, and
Alright, so he's going for it.
yeah, well, I mean, just because he has 3 land drops doesn't mean he needs to play them all. But
how many cards did he have when he picked up his deck?
I counted like 6. It seemed like 5 or 6.
Yeah. 2, 3. Alright, here's it. Nope. He's toying with us.
There was one game in the semifinals where he just had his opponent dead and he kind of played with his food for a while. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's going on. I think he's actually legitimately either trying to find a way or trying to figure out what is best, what is most optimal. I think
maybe we're forgetting about he's got Blessing. We're forgetting about that. That adds
true.
a couple cards to his deck.
Yeah. But it only looked like there was 1 card left in his deck.
Yeah.
But he's got 4 colored mana, so there could be a Seismic Assault and trade routes. Though he's only able to pick up 3 additional lands, so he would need 13 in his hand. But that doesn't seem unlikely given how many lands we say in play and in the graveyard. Because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 lands in the graveyard. So all right.
2,
One,
4.
two. I guess
Maybe
also the way Flint's able to the last 4 life from Jeff, Flint's able to respond to.
yeah.
So Jeff
Looks like he's doing
sacked
groups
a
of 4.
beast to negate 2 of the lands, or maybe he's doing these all in response. So this is kind of hard without hearing things. So
Yeah.
it's good that Jeff has at least a life counter. I guess I'm gonna kind of rely on where he ends up at. Oh, he went up to 32. So if Flint's not responding to that, does that mean he just doesn't have the kill? Or he just easily has the kill? I don't know.
I would think that means he doesn't have it.
Yeah, I guess, especially given the way that he's like pointing to his library.
I mean, there's a lot of lands on that table.
Are there? I mean, the deck's like... How many lands are in the deck?
39 was it?
I'm not sure, but he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, he's got them stacked, so I can't tell. I feel like if he would have responded to the life gain triggers, he would have had enough, but...
He got 34 lands.
Okay. How many do you think he has in play? 12? 14? Because if I only counted 4 or
16
5...
maybe?
Alright, I mean, then it's like... Pretty...
Off to the side.
Yeah, but then I count like 14 that would be in his hand, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But is he,
Is he discarding the hand size?
I guess.
I mean, in this situation, if you just untap and then you got Therapy addressed and just go for the trade routes, maybe. Unless that last card is a trade routes. He's just toying with us.
I don't know. This is bizarre. This would be a crazy game if Jeff was able to steal this.
Yeah. I mean, another Bailoff could. I don't think Bailoff is going to mess up the math.
It's funny, Jeff doesn't even want Pernicious Deed anymore.
No.
I guess he does because there's some number of Undiscovered Paradises coming back to his hand from Seismic Assault, so I guess there's no good way around it. I was to say, not playing Deed allow because Flint has to respond to the card draw of any land he plays if he has a Hornegreed in play, assuming that he only has 1 card in his deck. All right, I think that's more than 14.
Yeah, it's an absurd amount of lands in play.
I mean, if you had Cabal Therapy and you named Trade Routes and Gaia's Blessing, because you could flash it back, that'd be pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though you still might be dead to all the undiscovereds that get picked up. But I don't know. So here's a Deed.
It's frozen for me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if... doesn't look like anything's changed. I was in save. I guess I can try and refresh. Oh, I see a Flint.
Oh no.
I don't...
We're just untapping.
Okay.
Maybe he's just hoping Flint messes up with the chasms here. He just pays them both for some reason.
I think it's more likely that I mean, I guess it's probably more likely that he like has to play a land and dies or something.
Yeah.
Flint can't even fit all his lands on his playmat.
Alright, so you gotta upkeep these chasms.
Well, one he can let go.
I mean, he can let them both go. There's no instant burn.
That's true.
He might need them, though. I don't think so, but...
What, you're saying to pick up for trade routes?
Yeah. But he's got, like, 17 in play or something.
Well, he can't keep them both. One is 6 life and the other one's 2, so...
Right.
So I assume Flint's losing 2. At least, well, at most. That one's dying. That was the one that had 2. He's deciding whether he wants to pay 2 life for this one. I mean, I guess he might as well.
Yeah, the game's not gonna go. Last card. Face up.
I mean, Flint has to
I
have
think
a
it
way
was.
to win,
I
right?
think the last card was the trade routes, actually. He came Enlightened Tutor for his last card, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess if it's within the last 2 or 3 cards.
Right? Right?
Yeah, that's... I mean, a very
You're holding a
corner
bunch
case.
of tutors, you can't get it.
So, from this spot, he can respond by blowing up Deed, but Flint is almost assuredly having another Seismic Assault in his hand, right? But I guess you go for it, right? There's no
downside.
Yeah. Jeff's counting Flint's lands, I guess. But yeah, I guess I would respond with Deed. Oh. We lost to Jeff, so we'll hang tight until Jeff resumes.
I mean, we can see the entire deck, so there's at least one more assault in hand.
Okay. Did Flint turn off his light? It seemed like it got darker on his end. Flint's texting his mom.
Right.
Mom, I'm gonna win the spring fling.
He's just getting his calculator out right now, trying to do.
He's just Googling his name to see if maybe he's more famous now. I think that's probably what he's doing, right? No, he was messaging Jeff to make sure that Hey.
You're back.
Well, we still can't see Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay.
We muted muted Flint now. I guess every time they leave, I have to re-mute them. So I still don't see Jeff. Does Flint? The way that Flint was talking made it seem.
Maybe that's the strategy. You can't assault him if you can't see him.
All right. I mean,
so Deed went off. Okay.
Yeah, it is just. All right. Well, Jeff said, "Bear with me," so I don't know if. I mean, I guess we can figure out this game just from one side of the board. So Deed was activated. So that was in response to the trade routes, and then Flint has another Seismic Assault. So this should be enough to finish.
So that's 10.
I didn't count. I was assuming it was enough. Is it possible that it's not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He needed 15 because he was at 30. And I've got a few more too.
I still had all these.
And since you blew up my Hornegreeds, I can shuffle some back with my guy's blessing.
My one blessing. Alright, I guess we had enough.
All right, so let's look at deck lists. Hopefully, we can figure out Jeff's screen in the meantime. But I have the rock deck list up. We kind of talked about this earlier. The Vendettas are just dead cards. There's no creatures in Flint's main deck or sideboard, so those are obviously cards that you take out. And
you're gonna bring in. You got 2 Duresses, and you got. Oh, remute him.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So the 2 Duresses I think are the best card, and then
Festering Goblin. You gotta get the beatdown plan.
I think Festering Goblin is the next best card, which is kind of a sad state. So things don't really get any better for Jeff in the side after the sideboard of games. So if we pull up the lands deck,
this is always an adventure how he's gonna sideboard the lands deck.
Yeah. So the one card that looks really appealing is Compost. I mean,
I thought Compost wasn't as good. I thought Ivory Mask, Aura, and Humility to me are the 3 hits.
So I guess it depends on the way you look at it, because if you're really scared of Pernicious Deed, which, I mean, I don't know if scared is the right word, but that's the card you're thinking about the most. Playing an Ivory Mask it just kind of adds to that issue. You're saying, I'm putting more eggs in this basket, and Pernicious Deed still blows it up. Whereas compared to like Compost, I mean, at least you would draw a card, I guess, if you have it in play with a deed. Because obviously the thing you're worried about is hand disruption, right? Taking away your cards.
With the Ivory Mask, yeah.
Well, I mean, also like the Compost helps with that too.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
the Aura and Humility are huge. Aura is gonna let you. I mean, D costs more.
Yeah.
Which makes it so you got to hold possibly a full turn before you can blow it.
Yeah. The only thing is, it is a little bit difficult for Flint to cast it. I do think he brings it in. I think it's effective enough
he's casting triple red cards. He's fine.
Yeah, but he also has mountains and I guess the Rith Grove and Karplusan Forests. So there are a number of cards. And also, like, the turn that Seismic Assault needs to come down is a lot later than the turn he wants to play an Aura of Silence.
True. He's got 10 natural white manas, it looks like, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
The deck list is really small for me. It's hard for me to
4
tell.
Paradise, 4 City. He's got the Grove and then the natural plains.
Yeah, and I mean, Riftstone Portal kind of is a white sword. Like, if he gets a Riftstone Portal in the graveyard, then obviously it's very easy to cast that card.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think Humility is a good one here too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the question always is what do you take out? I mean, I think Gaia's Blessing. I think Mulch. I think those are cards. I think the Mulch is underperformed for him. That he doesn't really like it.
I don't think you can take the Blessing out.
You think it needs to stay in?
Yeah, just because he might hit the trade routes. He might get lucky and hit the trade routes with a discard spell. Sure.
Yeah, I guess that's reasonable. That if that's the way that Jeff is thinking, I'm going to win, is I'm just going to get lucky and snipe that trade routes. Because I mean, it's not like Flint can play it really early and protect it from, because the Pernicious Deed will still destroy it. So
right,
that's definitely something. I think that is like a reasonable way for Jeff to win is take out the trade routes and gain 8 to 12 life, and then Flint can't win.
And then the gambles might be the sideboard bait too here.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Last time I thought that the lands deck would only side in like 4 cards, and he sided in like 12. So
yeah, I did talk to Flint, and he said he thought he over sideboarded for one of those matches. So I think he's going to be a little bit more conservative. But
I mean, to be fair, Elephant Grass actually isn't terrible here either, because it does slow down the rock deck.
I mean, it would not be a very high priority for me, just because I know that he can't interact with the Glacial Chasm. So I just feel like that's a much more consistent way of preventing him from attacking.
Fair enough. We know he's not bringing Chillin. That's the only one I'm positive on. I mean, the Cursed Totem stops the life gain too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great, but like, yeah. I'm just trying to cover all my bases. I want to get one of these right.
Yeah, the chat was talking about him taking out Summerbloom. I don't think the way his deck works is if he's ever taking out a Summerbloom. It's just part of his engine with Horn of Greed. It's just part of his card draw engine.
Yeah, I think the Greeds, the Blooms, the Exploration, and the Enlightened Tutors are he was never going to touch those cards.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of a scenario where he might take him out. I was gonna say if you're playing like Turbo Oath, where they also have Horn of Greed, that maybe you would take out some number of Horn of Greeds, but I don't even know if that would be true.
I can't imagine what a match like that looks like.
Lots of lands.
Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting to be here all night. So I guess the games have progressed somewhat quickly. I mean, it's really just been Flint all day. I mean, Jeff has not been able to do very much because Flint's been able to Rishadan Port Jeff, and it's just kind of at the mercy of what Flint's able to do. So there's a turn one Mishra's Factory from Jeff. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah, that's I mean, he might just be getting the beatdown plan on though, to be fair.
I mean, because I can't imagine you're keeping a one land hand with a Mishra's Factory. So that must mean that he's attacking.
Yeah.
That would not be the first land I would play in most scenarios.
Yeah, he's coming at him.
I guess maybe if you have Llanowar Waste, that's the card you want to protect from a Wasteland. I don't know. Like maybe it was a bait. Maybe he wanted him to Wasteland his Mishra's Factory.
Maybe.
There you go. So a Horn of Greed is taken. So Flint was going to have his 1-2 punch, but a timely Cabal Therapy at least. I mean,
and now look at Flint's hand, and now it just looks completely meh.
Yeah, I mean, there still are draws off the top of his deck. There are more Horn of Greeds, there are Enlightened Tutors, but yeah, this is a spot where I don't even know if you want to play your extra land drop. I mean, maybe you don't even want to. Well, I guess there's no reason why you don't want to play the first land, but so he does.
Kor Haven protects you. Kor Haven protects you from the Mishras, right?
I think so. I'm not even sure. I think it's attacking or blocking. It's definitely attacking, right? So.
It does something with 2 damage. I know that.
No, I think it just prevents the damage that an attacking or blocking creature does. I think it's like a Maze of Ith, but also it does for blocking. But you have to pay 1 and a white to activate it.
Oh, just getting cards now we've never seen before in this matchup.
Oh yeah, the Yavimaya Elder.
Right.
So is Jeff favored from the spot?
I don't think so.
Which is kind of sad. Oh,
right.
Did he fog the?
Yeah, he needs another mana, right?
Yeah, but why else was he tapping his mana? Well, they have it at 18-19, so.
Yeah, he had extra mana at the very least.
Yeah, Baloth came down, so yeah, if Flint's unable to assemble anything, then I would say that Jeff is favored from the spot. So yeah, you can see that like I mean, a lot of the times that we watch the lands deck, it's always done its thing. But if you're able to pluck that card out of his hand, you can do it's. I mean, obviously it's a lot of lands. So here we're seeing a fog. So he's going to prevent 4, but he's still going to take 4.
So that Kor Haven does require a white colorless, right?
Yeah, he's getting the white. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's only white. But also, yeah, okay, he has him at 14. For a second, he had him at 15. So Wall Blossoms come down.
So now Flint is just looking for humility. I guess the Chasm, but
He can't cast Humility right here, right? He only has one white source
so far.
so far. How many cards does he have in his hand?
2.
Yeah, he just plays a Paradise and pass. So, I mean... Factory's going to get activated. He's going to attack for 8. 4 of it's going to get prevented. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that Kor Haven's doing a lot of work, at least to slow things down, but... Still doesn't necessarily look good for Flint.
Yeah, this is a bad spot for the lands deck. Got 7 coming across.
Yeah, he'll prevent 4.
Yep. And Wasteland.
Oh, okay. So that's a way to prevent some damage. So he's only going to take 4. So yeah, it's still by his... I mean, so right now, Flint's still on a 2-turn clock.
There we go.
So do you think... I mean, Jeff could also have like a Pernicious Deed in his hand.
Yeah, but I mean, what's he gonna deed at this point?
No, but I'm saying just saving it so even if Flint... I mean, the card that probably Flint wanted to draw was a Hornegreed, that he would only get 1 turn of using it before it gets blown up.
Oh, fair. So at this point, unless he has crop rotation, this game's probably over.
Well, he's still only attacking for 4 this turn. Because the Treetop Village got wastelanded. And he still has the Kor Haven. Oh. Crop rotation's coming out. But
Never doubt me.
That's only 2 turns that he can.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of 2.5 because he can pay 2, and then on his turn he lets it die, and he'll still get another draw step.
It sets him back so far though too.
Yeah. So he hasn't been playing extra lands. I mean,
I don't think he's got them. He's only got 2 cards in hand.
It's been like 4 turns. He has to have drawn at least some lands that he's... I mean, I would think you would sandbag it in hopes of drawing like a Hornegreed. I mean, but maybe you just draw a million Summer Blooms and Seismic Assaults. I don't know.
That's a good question. If you have the Seismic Assault here, do you just start trying to pick off creatures?
Yeah, that's definitely
You
possible.
almost
The only
have
thing
to.
is like, first of all, he can't cast it. Second of all, then he wouldn't be able to activate Kor Haven. So that's a recurring nightmare.
Yep.
So at the least, it's just going to gain him life.
Yeah, I'm
So
not really...
Took a damage, then gained 4.
Yep.
Traded a Wall of Blossoms for a Ravenous Baloth. So too bad you can't... I guess with the old rules, would you be able to... I guess Recurring Nightmare you can only do as a sorcerer. I was going to say, is there any way...
Yeah.
And Flint wouldn't put the damage on the stack. I was going to say sack the Baloth in response to the damage prevention, but... So... Flint...
Wait, what just happened there?
He picked up a land with Risk Grove, but then why did the mountain go to the graveyard?
Because he replayed the Chasm.
Oh, he played another one. Oh, okay. That's a new one. All right,
Yeah.
I see. But did Flint pay 2 life for the one that he kept? So here's 4 more life for Jeff. He's doing his... Yeah, so this is kind of like a corner case thing that I didn't really think would come up, that Jeff could do the loop with Recurring Nightmare and Ravenous Baloth. But, I mean, in this spot, Flint's in a lot of trouble otherwise. But it's something that we could see in future games, that Jeff is just going to grind and gain 4 life every turn, gain 4 life every turn, and get beyond the point where Flint can kill him. So yeah, he gained 8 life this turn. Well, he gained 8 life. He took a few damage doing it, but... So Flint's going to pay 2 to keep the chasm around. And it's kind of just... Nope. And Flint didn't find what he needed, so... So I guess not necessarily... Well, I mean, the games that Jeff's going to win, that might be exactly kind of how they play out, is a hand disruption card takes a card out of Flint. I mean, I felt like, especially since Flint had the Kor Haven to slow Jeff down, I feel like Flint drew a little bit below average beyond that point, but I definitely can see games going that way, that Jeff just takes a Hornegreed out of play and then Flint kind of spins his wheels for a while Jeff kills him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a slower start than I thought. I really thought all the games would just come down to a Blastoderm or the Baloth on turn 3. But yeah, getting that discard spell was huge there.
Yeah.
And you talked about that in the mono black against lands deck, and you talked about that here too. Is just snagging that one combo piece is just backbreaking.
Yeah. And did Remy have the full 4 Duress for Cabal Therapy when he played Flint? I don't recall. I don't know. But
I believe he did, and Funeral Charms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty unlikely to get something that you need. But yeah, Jeff has 8 cards. He has the 4 Duress and the 4 Cabal Therapy to try and disrupt Flint.
The big difference here is that Flint can't put a card into play and just protect it there.
Yeah,
because of the deeds.
Yeah, he's afraid of the deeds. So
yep.
And Flint doesn't do anything to other than the Aura of Silence to prevent, and I guess Rishadan Port and Wasteland to prevent that Pernicious Deed from coming into play.
Right. All right, gotta be named the Hornegreed again, I would think.
From this spot, I might name Enlightened Tutor if it lets her resolve. Yeah, I was gonna say the way that if you play 2 Undiscovered Paradises, to me that felt like Enlightened Tutor, but I guess it was just the way that Flint's hand kind of broke. This is an awkward hand from Flint.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I guess once he gets that Hornery down, that he's able to draw a bunch of cards. But because that was a Cabal Therapy, so any wall from any creature from Jeff, and you really taking out that Hornery. Does he have it?
Especially if he's got a wall of blossoms here. I would think he would just slam that down, though, if he had it.
Yeah. Festering Goblin. This would be the best case for a Festering Goblin, right?
Here it comes. Yes. Bam.
There we go.
What's getting the -1/-1?
No legal targets to choose from. A Summer Bloom is the other card in Flint's hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jeff really just needs to apply pressure, and that Kor Haven has come down again. Though it's funny that the white source again is the Undiscovered Paradise. So we saw last game of Flint just picking up Undiscovered Paradise every turn and not getting any advantage from it because he didn't have a Horde grade, and that could be the same case again. So are you able to look up Kor Haven? Is it only just white?
Colorless, prevent all damage.
So it is white and a colorless?
Yeah.
All right.
Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target attacking creature this turn.
Just attacking, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it seemed like every time last match, or last game, it was just color or white and tap it.
Yeah.
All right, so a Ravenous Bale has come down. It's not going to be enough right now because there's a Kor Haven in play. But it's a start.
And the Kor Haven's not, I mean, I guess Flint's got nothing else going on, but you do have to return your Undiscovered every turn to
Yeah, but with Exploration, that's a lot less of a big of a deal. Like, if you didn't have Exploration, then maybe it's setting them back. But if you have Exploration in play, if you draw a land, you're able to play them both.
These crop rotations just look terrible right here, too.
Sure. I mean, they're going to get to a point, like, given that he has Kor Haven, they're not the worst card because, I mean, getting a Glacial Chasm here is very painful in terms of that you have to sack a land for crop rotation and then a sack a land for Glacial Chasm. But it is a nice safety blanket in terms of, because Jeff has to play a bunch of stuff to the board even to start dealing damage right here. And then once it gets to a point, Flint's going to be able to get the Chasm in play. So we're on Flint's turn, right? Okay. He plays a forest. And so, yeah. So Jeff knows his hand is crop rotation, and Summer Bloom. Flint's ready to prevent damage from the Ravenous Bailout. What? I don't know what they're waiting for. Oh, so 4 mana.
He's gonna Dust Bowl him?
Oh, interesting. Do you like that? I don't. I think you'd rather prevent 4 damage than.
I don't know what you're afraid of there.
Pernicious Deed. He may be trying to cut him off black. Like, if that is his plan. But still, like, I mean, I don't feel like you need to be worried about Pernicious Deed right here because you're losing to the board.
Yeah.
And taking 4 is not great.
At least now we can sack that Riftstone Portal,
yeah,
too.
the Glacial Chasm feels a little bit less. You're able to recoup some of that mana.
I don't think you can chasm here.
Um,
I think you just want to go get.
so you're either taking 4 or you're taking 2, 4, 6.
Yeah,
And you
here.
have to, well, like I was say, you have 2 crop rotations, but every time you cast Glacial Chasm, you lose an extra land.
Yep.
So
I don't think you're getting the cat. Oh, he is.
yeah, I
It sets you back so far.
I agree. I feel like I would take 4 from that spot. I'd use the Kor Haven 1 turn
Yep.
and maybe wait 1 more turn to do it. So here's a Wall of Blossoms. I know from the quarters that he played, his Brian Manilock has confirmed that is a Wall of Blossoms. It kind of looks like a Spike Feeder to me right here, but it's just an altered Wall of Blossoms. So Cabal Therapy. Right. So he's, I feel like I would take Crop Rotation over Summer Bloom from this spot. Like Summer Bloom doesn't do anything right here, really. Okay, Crop Rotation is named. Is he just taking both? Wait, what are the? Okay, yeah, the Wall of Blossoms. Right? I was say that'd be a weird spot to miss with Cabal Therapy, but
yeah. All right, I don't see how Flint can come back from this.
It would start with a Hornegreed, and then it would involve lands on the top of his deck in the sequence that he needed, I think.
I mean, again, the humility here shuts down all these creatures. Here comes a Deed. No.
Humility kills the Wall of Roots.
Yeah.
So yeah, the clock's really just from the Glacial Chasm. I mean, I guess is he going to keep it around 1 more turn? Here's a Duress. There's a Forest. Yep. Gotcha. That's a small victory for Flint, right?
Yep. You use that momentum in the game 5 right there.
Yeah. So that looks like the way that we're going.
Yeah. You just stole all the momentum from that Festering Goblin.
Flint's going to play a Forest. Because I guess he's technically not dead. Yeah, he's not dead because he doesn't take any damage and then he can just sack the Chasm. But he only has 1 draw step after that. And really the only, I don't see what he does from this spot. Because I think the best card that he could draw would be another Glacial Chasm. And
I'm telling you, it's humility.
Yeah, humility. Oh, okay.
Because that Deed would have to clear out the entire board then.
Sure. Maybe that's Jeff thinking. He's like, well, do I even need to play this Blastoderm or another Ravenous Bailiff from my hand? Because
no.
The only way I lose is, yeah. And yep, it looks like we're going to game 5.
Yep. Wow.
So, I mean, we have seen the hand disruption, but it's only 2 additional cards. So I think it's just kind of how things have lined up that they've just kind of worked out for Jeff. Because, I mean, I don't feel like sideboarding helps him that much.
I mean, you're bringing in 2 extra Duresses, though. But he hasn't even hit him with a Duress early. He's hit him with the Cabal Therapies the entire time.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But also, let's give a little bit of credit to Jeff that he is... I don't think he's missed with an early Cabal Therapy, has he?
I don't think he has, no.
He named the Hornegreed one time, and then he named... I mean, regardless of whether he named Enlightened Tutor or Hornegreed, he was going to hit it on that hand. But I do like the name of the Enlightened Tutor from that spot.
I think Flint's had the Exploration of Hornegreed every game so far. And the opening grip.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's obviously something that he's looking for, but it's kind of scary when you're mulliganing against a deck you know that has hand disruption. To do that.
For sure.
So players are shuffling up for game 5. I mean, psychologically, Flint's gotta like kind of feel down, right? I mean, even if you think you're advantaged in this game 5, it just the way those last 2 games played out just don't feel good.
Right. So now, I'm a superstitious person. So you have that long drawn out game 2. Possibly you just don't shuffle good enough. Your deck isn't. All your lands are still clumped together.
I don't know. I mean, definitely with this deck more than most that like your lands actually can get clumped together because of Seismic Assault, the way the game finishes, and that you have a million lands in play. But I don't know. I thought I read some idea that like just 7 good shuffles will fully randomize any deck. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we saw one card come in or out from Flint, and I don't know if. I mean, I definitely can see like if you're on the draw, you're boarding out a land. You could bring in a card. It's kind of like a free roll. But or maybe he's thinking, oh, this is a higher priority than maybe I initially thought. Like humility could be a card. I don't know. Maybe if he hadn't brought it in, that he's thinking
Right.
the way these games played out, that humility would have been really good in those spots, or
Elephant Grass.
Yeah, or elephant
Because
grass.
all of a sudden, maybe he just didn't realize that the man lands were going to be so good.
Sure.
Which, to be fair, I didn't think man lands would be so good.
Well, yeah,
You got 4 Wastelands,
4 Wasteland, and
Dustful.
4 Rishadan Port, and Dustful.
Yeah.
There's just so many cards that answer that.
All right, so I'm still on the lands here.
Yeah, you still think that they're one.
I'm still thinking that one. Yeah. The rock is so resilient, though. There's not much that Fling can really do to mess with it other than the landing now strategy.
So it looks like
Mulligans.
I was gonna say I don't know. I was just trying to read Jeff's body language, which obviously is pretty minimal, but it looked like he was thinking about his hand. We talked about last match that the playmats were very on theme. That the recurring nightmare deck had recurring nightmare, and the Curse Scroll deck had Curse Scroll. There's no Solkanar the Swamp King in Flint's deck, but we'll give him props for the sweet old school card. Flint might be taking a break, going to the bathroom, get a drink or something. So, chat, what do we think? What do we think about this last game? Who are we rooting for? Who do we think is going to take it down? And if you're Jeff, like the way the last 2 games have played out, like you got to feel like a lot better, I guess, just the way things have rolled. I mean, even if you don't think you're going to win.
I mean, comparing those 4 games, it's like a completely different match, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we did mulligan.
I'm gonna step away real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Did I miss anything exciting?
There's at least 7 good shuffles there, so we know we're randomized.
Alright, that's good. Okay, so Flint's starting with a city brass. So he's taking damage right away. But there's a turn 1 expiration and an Undiscovered Paradise. So if you have that sequence, does that say anything that you don't want to pick up the Undiscovered Paradise? It means you have like a Hornegreed, right?
I would assume Hornegreed or Enlightened Tutor here. Yep.
Yeah, but if you had Enlightened Tutor, you do it in the other order, right? I mean, like if that's all you were doing.
No. Why would you pick up the...
Oh, I guess, yeah, missing a land drop might be worse than taking damage. Fair enough.
Yeah. Alright, good chance that you just whiff on this Duress here now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, yeah, that's the... I mean, you still get a Hornegreed.
Oh.
So...
And this guy, every game, he's got...
Yeah.
I would play this deck too if I had that every game.
Well, he's even able to... With the... Enlightened Tutor to kind of protect him from that disruption.
Yeah. And now we see he's got the port draw again, so this might be
Closer
a completely different game. Yep.
Yeah, closer to the first games that we saw. Oh, we get a pupper.
Oh,
Who's a good
I didn't
boy.
know we were.
That's early.
I didn't know we were allowing teammates.
Yeah. Outside assistance.
Right. All right, so now this game is way different.
Well, if a deed comes down... Well, I guess the port's there.
Yeah, we can start porting them.
But if an early deed comes down, the port's not that good. Like, if he's able to resolve deed...
Yeah, but he can't resolve deed right now.
Yeah, I would just say... But, I mean, like, if Flint's not able to, like, do that much in the next 2 turns...
True. I just want to point out that we got double white for the aura
Oh,
already.
I'm falling behind on the life total. Ooh, that's not an aura silence. It's a Hornegreed.
That is not, yeah. So now we gotta be a little bit worried about the deed.
Yeah, I mean, you're still gonna
This
draw
is-
some cards. But yeah, I mean, I guess you're given a spot where you're saying, like, if a deed comes down here, it comes down. But is it possible? I mean, if the other card in your hand was Aura of Silence, how insane would that be?
Or seal cleansing? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's just baiting them.
Yeah. I mean, I would still go for it. I think.
From the rock side point?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, therapy. What do you name here?
Summerbloom?
Yep.
I mean, you can make an argument of naming the Seal of Cleansing or Aura of Silence. Like, Seal of Cleansing, I might name Seal of Cleansing if that's the only card you're worried about.
Oh, there's a elephant grass.
Well, there's Exploration, Hornegreed, and
Jeez.
Elephant Grass.
Jeez.
So, well, I mean, he's very likely to draw lands, but if Flint doesn't draw lands, then this hand is... that's... Well, I
Little
mean...
MVP.
Yeah. Are you taking the Hornegreed here?
Yes. I believe.
So, did... Jeff still got to draw a bunch of cards. Oh, he's taking Elephant
He
Grass.
took the Elephant Grass. Oh.
Is that... Oh, no. Okay, Exploration.
Oh, Exploration. Oh.
Certainly had us fooled.
Oh.
Oh, I guess there's a Undiscovered Paradise in play. I was thinking that, yeah, he wouldn't have a land drop anyways. But, yeah. So he's playing... If he's playing...
He's playing the land before the Hornegreed.
I mean, I can see that for... Well... You're not going to...
So he might not even play the Hornegreed here, right?
Sure. If you... That's just kind of some protection against Pernicious Deed. That's definitely a reasonable line. But it's almost just as vulnerable in your hand as it is in play. I mean, definitely not as vulnerable because you already have the cards that... But there's still 7 discard spells.
Yeah, well, playing it there, you would have to turn off the port.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So
Like,
here,
there was a spot maybe he was thinking he really needed the port. But the port... I mean, I guess it prevents him from playing like a Ravenous Baloth or a Blastoderm. But it does... He's not going to prevent him with only 1 port. He's not going to prevent him from playing a Pernicious Deed. I guess you could tap the green mana and hope he doesn't have another green source.
Yep. But you can still make it so he can't cast Deed and then use it right away. I might have gotten the sideboard right this time. There's an Elephant Grass there. He might have the Chill Hide in there someplace. Alright, there we go.
What do you think about... Do you think Destructive Flow is like the new tech now?
To stop this deck?
Yeah.
I think Price of Progress probably does a pretty good job too most of the time.
There's still a Glacial Chasm in the deck.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, there's spots if a Destructive Flow came down too late, it would not be enough to stop this deck.
That's true.
But...
Did we cast another Summer of Bloom?
Well, it looks like it.
Jeez.
And this is just going off.
Yeah.
So Jeff can't be feeling good from this spot.
I mean, what do? You untap and slam down Blastoderm and say go? Your opponent just played 14 lands and drew 27 cards?
I feel like Deed is probably a better... I don't know. It doesn't feel good either way.
I mean... I don't know any follow player here that makes you feel good. Maybe dress him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of just even like pre-modern legal cards that would be good.
Just untap an Armageddon.
I think you would lose from that spot.
I mean, the fact that he's drawing 3 cards per land is
and
just...
he gets 2 lands dropped every turn.
All right, there's the trade routes.
So it's protected from hand disruption.
Yep. So really, the land deck is kind of saying you got 1 turn here.
Or he's saying... I don't know. I mean, you can't just say, like, I'm assuming that you don't... I mean, you could just be putting him not on Deed, I guess. I don't know, because he didn't play last turn. But, because if...
He's got 11 lands right now.
Yeah. Oh, so you're just saying a clock as compared... I thought you were saying more of a signal of him playing the trade routes.
I mean, he just discarded Enlightened Tutor.
Yeah. And here's a port. That's just going to tap. I would
think green mana.
but apparently not. I mean, it probably doesn't matter. I mean, I guess if you're worried about him taking 2 seismic assaults, or like that.
That's true.
But there's still a Cabal. Oh, no, the Cabal Therapy got flashback.
Yeah.
Then I guess, yeah, maybe that's what you were worried about. So yeah, if he had Cabal Therapy and named Seismic Assault, you need to have an Enlightened Tutor in your hand.
We got no untapped lands. Alright, he used to draw 3 cards.
Yeah, it's a small incentive or small prize. Here's a Duress.
Right.
He's gonna
You
show.
got the Duress. Boom.
Here's multiple Seismic Assaults or multiple Enlightened Tutors. I'm guessing.
But it's just baiting him. Like, I got a blessing, man. You should probably take that one.
So interesting that he.
Wow.
Okay, so he discarded the Enlightened Tutor. I don't think I would have discarded that there. I think I would have kept.
He's got 7 cards to draw this next turn, though.
Yeah, but still, like, if you have Enlightened Tutor instead of a land there, is there, like, any... I guess the only sequence that you lose is, like, double discard spell.
Right.
I'm missing City of Brass triggers left and right. But yeah, basically he just needs a Seismic Assault. Seismic
9 cards in hand here. You got 9 cards in hand and what, 8 lands right now, maybe? 7, 8 lands?
It's 8 lands and a Guy's Blessing. And then he drew a card, so it's 1 unknown. Oh. Well.
And don't forget, those trade routes can just start. That trade route can just start cycling lands.
Yeah, if you're really desperate, like if you didn't hit an Exploration or a Summer Bloom and ran out of drops, you could.
The hidden mode in this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's usually the other way around.
Right.
I mean, I guess probably most decks is kind of in conjunction with the lands that you're picking up, you're discarding, but. So Guy's Blessing's putting back a Seismic Assault. I'm guessing an Enlightened Tutor.
Summer Bloom.
2 Summer Blooms and I guess if you hit Summer Bloom instead of Enlightened Tutor, it's probably just as good as an Enlightened Tutor. Maybe not, but I guess if you played a land and then drew into Summer Bloom, it's better than drawing Enlightened Tutor. So that makes sense.
He can hit explorations here too.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit the Seismic Assault. Boom.
Yeah. Jeff's like, well, you're taking the damage for that one.
Right. Right, so
1, 2, 3,
6,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we have a champion.
Boom.
The lands deck has taken down the rock. I mean, that match was much closer than I thought, I guess. I mean, the games, I guess, didn't play out really the way that I anticipated, but it definitely... I was on the edge of the seat. I definitely thought, just the way those last 2 games, the same thing could have happened in that final game, and Jeff could have taken it down. So I'm going to I'm going to bring them on. We can listen to them, and then eventually we're going to talk to Flint. So let's hear what they're talking about. I'm going to leave us on if we need to say anything, but...
I mean, mine's real simple. I brought in 2 Duress and a Festering Goblin, brought out Vendetta. That one game I actually brought in more for like a good luck totem. I brought in a Tormod's Crypt. I mean, there's like a corner case where it can help, but really,
Nice.
It really doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. The Vendetta's got to come out. Duress obviously comes in, and the Goblin's better than a Vendetta, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can maybe reduce the clock by a turn. And it also turns on my Cabal Therapies a little more.
Yeah. What was it? Our fourth game where you did that was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I boarded in an Elephant Grass, a Crop Rotation, and an Aura of Silence, and I boarded out 2 Gambles and a Mulch.
Yeah.
Is what I did.
Yeah. Those are looks about right to me.
The
I
Gambles just. Oh,
maybe
go
I
ahead.
thought
Sorry.
you might bring in the humility actually.
I went back and forth on it, and did you see my match with Remy?
Yes.
So I played it against Remy, but I also just had a Glacial Chasm, and it seemed superfluous to have the humility in play.
Yeah, it
And
was just
so
redundant.
so I spent 4 mana to play it, and it was there, and it wasn't very good against his Scudas anyway. So it's probably a hair better against you because you can't tap for mana, where you can't use the Wall of Roots.
Right.
But other than that, I'm not really worried about you attacking. So it's really, I think, in this matchup about getting a Glacial Chasm in play, and then being able to buy enough time to combo. So I didn't bring it in. I thought about Ivory Mask as well, but just like we saw these games play out, most of the damage you're going to do to me is going to be in the first 3 turns with discard. So I'm just not going to have the time to play it. And late game, I felt like it wasn't going to matter as much. So my thinking was, in case I can't get a Glacial Chasm, or life becomes an issue, this is an option. This is obviously good for Chasm, and this makes it harder for you to get a deed down. And also maybe I can play it and kill your deed in between the turn where you play it and the turn where you sack it.
Yeah, I think that's all sound logic. My only regret, as I was saying to Mike before this all started, was this was the match I was really kicking myself that I started this tournament without owning any naturalizes.
It was funny because I was talking with Mike the other day, and I was like, yeah, Jeff, doesn't have any Wastelands, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. But after he boards in his naturalizes, I don't know, man, it's going to be rough. And
Yeah.
I looked at your list and didn't see any, and it was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I literally didn't own any, so I'm like, but somehow I still made it this far, which I guess speaks to the power of this rock deck. It's pretty good.
I really like the no mana dorks, right? So it's like you gum up the ground game with the walls, and then you use the wall of roots to get your mana, because you're going to be deeding away a lot of things anyway. So I like that you chose to go with the walls instead of the Birds of Paradise. I think that's a nice take on it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it's a good meta call. And I also think this is my first time playing it, but in looking at the list, I don't know that you benefit. All you need to do is accelerate 1 turn to get your 4 drop out on 3. So the 4 Wall of Roots just does that 40% of the time.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, the reason why I was particularly afraid of your deck too is because if you go turn 1, Duress or Cabal Therapy, get one of my cards, turn 2 Wall of Roots, turn 3 Blastoderm, and then sack the Wall of Roots to the Therapy, I just don't think I can win. And the games where you beat me, you did something similar to that, right? I mean, granted, you didn't play Blastoderm, but it was inevitable after you took 2 of my cards. I just couldn't recover.
Yeah. Cool. Well done, man. Great playing. You brought an awesome deck, and well earned and deserved victory. So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to playing you as always in the monthlies.
Absolutely, buddy. I'll let you go. Good luck in the interview.
Sounds good. Congrats again on your new kiddo.
Thanks, man.
So I'm going to unmute Mike and unmute Lester here. Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy. Congrats on the win there. The one time I thought you'd sideboard in 12 cards. You only did 3. Keep me on my toes.
I watched your video and was like, man, Lester's just giving it to me. I really got to cut down on the sideboarding.
I thought Chill might come in this game. I wasn't sure.
Well, it was between Chill and Defense Grid. But,
exactly. I was truly surprised you didn't bring in Humility, though. I thought that would be an ace in this one.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I don't know if you heard us talking.
Yep.
But I kind of explained that it almost feels like a win more card, in a lot of ways. And I've really got to draw into it later because the odds are he's going to strip it from my hand if it's in my opener. But who knows? Maybe it's wrong. I mean, I think that's one cool thing about this deck is just like when I played Hermit, it's new, and so there are 34 lands in this deck, and there's a lot of room to innovate and change things up. I'm sure that there's probably a much better list out there, but this is kind of what I had settled on based on some playtesting.
Yeah, the games played out. The ones that were you were in it, you didn't lose your Hornegreed too early. Games played out almost perfectly for you. Were you afraid of losing the trade routes at any time to discard?
I was I don't remember if it was in the first game or the second game when I had a pretty big board presence, but I was trying to figure out if I should try to play the trade routes out or keep it in my hand and pass the turn. And then, of course, if he plays a deed and destroys it, how much trouble am I in? So I decided to keep it in my hand along with a Gaea's Blessing with the hope that he couldn't get both. But
right.
I also really wanted him to play the deed as well, so I was hoping to sort of bait him into playing it instead of a discard spell. And that's what he ended up doing. And as soon as he played the deed, I breathed a sigh of relief because I assumed that discard wasn't gonna come after that, because Cabal Therapy would have wrecked me.
Right. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the games weren't very close. Either you got rolling or he got rolling. But those first two games, he did everything perfectly, locking up his mana. And then, did you have any tough mulligans, games 3 or 4?
I did, yeah. I mean, we were actually telling each other what our hands were when we were mulliganing.
Fair.
But there was one hand, it was 6 lands and a gamble. There was another one that I had, I think, a mulch and a trade routes, and the rest were lands. There was another hand where I actually did have an Enlightened Tutor and a Hornegreed, but I didn't have any white mana, and it just wasn't good enough, I felt, because I believe he was on the play that round. So, and you even saw, like, even the game where I mulliganed down to 5, I actually had a good hand, but he just came out with the discard and just wrecked me, and I couldn't recover.
Right, yeah, you always had the exploration, but he was just able to take away that greed from you. So we were on the same page in that if you had trade routes, you were just going to almost always mulligan that hand, right?
Yeah. Oh god, if he gets the trade routes, I'm in big trouble.
Right. Yep, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Is that was kind of almost the mini game in the games. Is how are you going to protect it? You can't put it in the table because you can blow it up. You don't want to hold it. So basically, you just don't want to draw it until the right time.
No, you really don't. I mean, if he gets rid of it, then I've got to hope. I've got to get my blessing at some point, shuffle it back in, and then redraw it. Is what I've got to do. It's weird. I know there's only one blessing. It's in there against combo, against like Alter Dementia, and Brain Freeze.
Yep.
But it also does serve as like a catch-all in case like things go bad. I have a way to get Seismic Assaults back in or a trade routes. So that's why I ended up keeping it in. It does seem weird to just have the one in there, though.
I mean, your deck, from the outside perspective, you don't play a couple of games with it. Summer Blooms look weird to people. The Blessing looks weird to people. But once you play games with it or you see it in action, everything makes a lot more sense. So I think the one Blessing is really good. I don't think you could play the deck without one Blessing. Do you agree?
I agree. I mean, I really do think you need like a reset button of some sort, because a well-timed deed or aggressive discard, or even there was a game against Remy where people were commenting on social media where I played on an Ivory Mask late game, and the reason why I played it was because I did have, I think it was maybe my last Seismic Assault in my hand, and I knew I couldn't win that turn, and I had to play a Seismic Assault, and so I played the Ivory Mask out because I was terrified that he was going to make me discard my Seismic Assault because my Blessing was already in the graveyard. Had I not done that, and had he played a Duress on me, I would have lost the game on the spot. So it's nice to have the reset button for sure. The only card I think I'm unsure about is Mulch. Mulch just feels like a win more card. You never want to play it if you don't have your combo, because you end up just putting it in your graveyard, and your combo pieces are so precious. I boarded it out in almost every single game that I played, so I feel like there's probably a better card than Mulch to put in that spot, but I don't know what it might be.
Yeah, with no scroll rack, Mulch Blessing is obviously insane if you have scroll rack, but with no scroll rack, I guess the Mulch almost looks like Summer Bloom number 5. But like you said, it's just so dangerous sometimes to play it.
Yeah, it really is it's a win more card. Like I have to already be going off, so to speak, and then it's really good to get the lands.
Yep.
But I don't know. I boarded it out in almost every single match.
So going forward, that would be the one change you would make is remove mulch.
That would be the for sure change to get rid of the mulch. Other than that, I think you can make a case for maybe some other lands. So my odd one-ofs are very deliberate. Like the Kor Haven is for, Dreadnought decks or for Reanimator or for, Full English Breakfast, assuming they don't have, an Ink Shrouder or some stuff like Ink Shrouder. The Barbarian Rings for Meddling Mages. I tried to think through like what lands I need in the deck to be able to beat some of the most popular matchups, but Kor Haven never really came up. Now, granted, I didn't face Dreadnought, and it was okay for me tonight, but I was already losing those games anyway, so maybe that comes out. I definitely don't want to run Manlands because you want as many dead cards in your opponent's hand as possible, because most decks in the format, aren't designed to fight something like this, with the exception of Artifact and enchantment removal, so I don't want to give them another target. But hey, there are a lot of Magic encyclopedias out there, people who really know the cards, and maybe people can take this list and swap some of those out. I don't know.
Yeah, I won't lie. I built it on Magic Online. I ran through quite a few games with it, and like I said, when you look at it at first, it looks weird. When you start playing with it, though, everything fits into place, and it's like a well-oiled machine. So
you played the deck?
I did. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I ran through quite a few games. I put I didn't have the mulch in there. I won't lie to you. I took that out. I put a second blessing in. But yeah, I played it quite a few, and my sideboard is a little bit different. I think the sideboard in this deck is one of those cool things too, is that you can almost play anything you want.
Yeah.
There's so many cards that you can play in there, and you can count on casting almost everything. So yeah, I really like the deck quite a bit. Yeah, I didn't think you had any. I thought you had a bad matchup against that blue-white deck in the first round, but then obviously that I was wrong on that one. You crushed that deck. So yeah, congrats on the win. This was a really nice night tonight for you.
Thank you. Yeah, these were really fun matches, and they're actually like played out to be closer than we thought. So it was Game 5 against Remy and Game 5 against Jeff as well. So thanks guys for the good games.
Yeah, the one question I have for you, Flint, is the way that Game 2 played out, because that was the one where you went down to like one card in your deck, right?
Yeah.
And so we had someone in the chat had kind of talked about Jeff gaining enough life to get you out of range, and I didn't really think that was a situation that would really come up, but it was kind of interesting. So the way that it came out, was it just that trade routes was like the very last card, or the second or third last card or something that you couldn't draw into it right away, or how did that game actually play out, or what did you have to play around?
Yeah, I drew into the trade routes right in the last couple of cards that I drew, and at that point, so many of my lands were tapped already that I knew I couldn't just like drop it, pick up everything, and kill him. And so I was a little worried. I had one card left in my deck, and I was trying to decide, do I run the trade routes out or not? Mm-hmm. Because if he just plays a deed and he sacks it, I'm in big trouble. So I knew I had to keep it in my hand, and so then it's like, if I keep it in my hand, then I have to keep a blessing in my hand, and I have to keep a Seismic Assault in my hand because he's going to kill the one on the board. And I've got to hope that he's going to untap, and I'm going to tap. I think I tapped maybe one or two of his lands. I was trying to like signal that I was scared of a deed, and I don't know if he even registered that at all, but that was kind of what I was trying to do, and I was just hoping that he wouldn't play a discard spell, because a Cabal Therapy would have been the worst case scenario, because he could have therapied, taken my trade routes, flashed it back, and taken my blessing, and then it's just game over for me. So I was hoping that that wouldn't happen, and so that game was actually a lot closer than I think even Jeff realized. But that was my thinking.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess my other question would just be is going forward, is this deck, now that it's kind of a known entity, is it a flash in the pan, or is it something that you think has some staying power and can really compete with the tier 1 decks after they know about it?
I think only time will tell. Obviously, if you get rid of the Hornagreed, it cripples the deck pretty heavily, right? The draw engine is just so important. And so if people understand that, Jeff was really good about it. He he took it almost every single time, except for the time when he named Enlightened Tutor. I guess I telegraphed that I had it in my hand, and but it was the right thing to do in that scenario. But I tend to really like decks that people don't expect, because I'm an okay Magic player, but I love to brew, and I love to sort of come at the game from angles that people don't expect to try to get an edge to make up for my lack of play skill. And so I think that now that the cat's out of the bag, just like with Hermit Druid, if people really understand how to attack the deck, they have a much better chance. But it is a powerful deck at the same time, because it can play the long game. It's really explosive. And Glacial Chasm's a hell of a card. So I think it has potential, but if people build this, if people start playing this and it becomes a thing, then I think it will have to adjust to the meta, and I don't know what that would look like necessarily. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Okay. All right, yeah, I guess that really kind of answers all the questions that I had. I haven't seen anything in the chat really that they needed to know. Lester, did you have anything else to say?
No, great match. Congrats on the win.
Yeah,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Did I miss any triggers? I'm
Kor Haven.
I'm so scared.
The Kor Haven, you're only paying white instead of colorless and white.
Right.
I thought I was tapping the Undiscovered. Oh, and one other.
Yeah.
But,
You always had an extra mana, so it didn't matter too much.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought there was a spot. I think I wasn't paying attention, but I think Lester said something that you missed a trigger at one point. But
the horn. You missed. I think it was maybe game 2. You played out You played out your lands and then the Hornagreed. Instead of playing the third land, Hornagreed, then the fourth land to draw. I think that was the only thing that we missed.
Okay. I know.
Yep.
I think it was in the first game I actually held the Hornagreed in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to tap him down, but yeah, I may have missed that in the second game.
Yep. I don't think it mattered because you were obviously you took over about a turn later.
Okay.
So yeah. So
I'll go back and watch it, and I'll watch for that to try to get better.
Fair enough. Well, congrats.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys staying up, and the commentary is really nice. These are really fun matches to go back and watch. So I hope that, Mike, you continue to do it, and even if Andrew's, recording or something, I hope that we can do some commentary, because I do think it makes the matches even more engaging. You guys do a nice job.
I do enjoy talking about the lines, and I mean, it's pretty easy to keep talking about something, whether it's a line of play or just some random pre-modern experience that we have. And yeah, I think as a viewer, it's really interesting just to hear someone talking as compared to just seeing the people play out the games.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, buddy.
All right. Well,
bye, guys.
Everyone in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Congratulations to Flint on a job well done. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It'll let you know when I'm live. I don't know exactly the next time I'll be streaming, if I'm going to be doing this for every tournament or if it's just for kind of the ones that I'm the TO for. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Lester, for helping me out. And I enjoyed your commentary. I'm sure everyone else did as well. And
well, thanks for inviting me. I'm always down for this.
Okay, yeah. I mean, pre-modern is a great format, and there's still, I mean, like, we kind of saw this deck just kind of appear, and it's not really anything that's been seen in this kind of space before, and I'm sure there's plenty of more decks that exist out there that people are just haven't done. So it's
for sure not a solved metagame. I know there was a discussion earlier on the Facebook group about that, and I mean, we just saw, we saw two very similar Goblin decks that top aided, but there's always a blue-white deck that they're always like fairly different every tournament we've seen to these. So yeah, I think the metagame is pretty good, and you can kind of go in any direction right now with this format.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're interested in playing pre-modern, there's Facebook groups, the pre-modern online play that you can join. We just had our registration for the next monthly tournament that closed, but we have one typically every month. This spring fling was an exception that kind of took the place of 2 monthlies. But other than that, we have a monthly tournament that goes on every month. Also, if you're just looking for some pickup games or looking to get into the format, you can post on that Facebook page, and someone will help you out and kind of get your feet wet on the format if you haven't played it at all. But other than that, yeah, you can see my social media up here. I do have a YouTube channel. This stream will be going up at some point, and I also make some other content. Right now, it's just pre-modern content that I'm posting, but I play a lot of matches actually with Flint, that I do some content with him. So if you're interested, subscribe there, check it out. But thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you soon.